Hey guys, this is Sarah Abbott from Make a Way Life Coach. I'm a life coach here. Welcome back. All right, today we are continuing with our series on the 5 love languages by Gary Chapman, and I'm going to keep this short. I promise, 5 minutes. Go. All right, get the book, take the quiz, learn your love language. You need to do this because your partner, who you love, has a specific way of receiving love. And you probably don't know it. If you haven't read this book, you don't know it, I promise you. And that's a big mistake because you think you're doing things to love your partner, but it's not getting through because it's not their love language. So you need to speak their language. It's easy, and we're going to walk through it. Today, we're going to talk about acts of service. My husband and I did this many years ago in this marriage small group we were in, and I found out his love language was acts of service, and I wanted to jump off a bridge because I was like, that sounds like a lot of work for me. Could you pick an easier one? But you don't get to pick. So here we are. I'm going to turn, just to keep this simple, the acts of service chapter. If you go to page 105, it has a cheat sheet. So if you don't want to read the whole chapter, although you should, you could just turn to 105 and he gives you, if your spouse, what it says is, if your spouse's love language is acts of service, then try these things. Here's what I love about this. Number 1, he tells you, ask your spouse if their love language is acts of service. Ask them to make a list of 10 things that he or she would like for you to do during the next month. Ask them to prioritize which one through 10, is the most important. And then use this as a list and tell yourself, in the next month, I'm going to do these 10 things. Now, if it's like remodel the house, okay, that's not going to happen in a month. But maybe you can contact the architect and get the ball rolling or something, okay? You see what I'm saying? Do something about the thing. Here's another beautiful thing I'm stealing right from the book. Number 5, he says, what one act of service has your spouse nagged you about consistently? Now remember, if your spouse's love language is acts of service, it feels like they're always nagging you to do more. But what they're really doing, this is an important reframe, they're not nagging you. They're trying to express their needs. And if you're like me, my acts of service is like 0. Nick used to try to love me that way. He literally would avoid me all weekend because he had a project in the yard. And then he'd be like, on Sunday night, when I was like mad because I'm a vacillator and he abandoned me all weekend, he'd be like, look at this fence I built for you. And I was like, dude, you didn't do that for me. Like, what? So I have very low acts of service. Building fences does almost nothing, actually nothing, 0 for me. Nick had to learn that the hard way. But see, that's his love language, so he was trying to build me up the only way he knew how. You want to give what you know how to, what you want to receive, but that doesn't work. So if your spouse is acts of service and you're not acts of service, then you need to learn. Buy the book so you can learn. But he says, what one act of service has your spouse nagged about consistently? Why not decide to see the nag as a tag? So instead of thinking like, they always want me to do this thing. Think of it like, wow, I'm really grateful my spouse is just really directly telling me what he needs to feel loved. I'm going to do it. See how easy that is? So, sharing from my own life. I shared a little bit about this in the intro. I think having an acts of service spouse is hard. But, so many years, I was trying to build up Nick with the things that worked for me, which was acts of service. Not acts of service. Words of affirmation. That's my love language, so naturally that's what I was trying to use him, building him up. It's not that he doesn't like when I say nice things about him, but the reality was it didn't really fill up his. You think of it like all of us have like a well inside, and people can fill it up with water, and that keeps your well full and happy and healthy. Nothing I was doing was filling up his well. And so when we did this work, it turned out that I asked what are the 10 things I could do this month, because I'm a really good student and I always do what the book tells me to do. And it was like, gosh, I just want to come home to a clean house every day, and I don't want to eat out so much. Can you cook more? And I can't remember. Probably like do laundry and all that other crap. But anyway, I was like, oh boy, my whole life just got like 10 times harder. But I implemented a bunch of systems, which we're going to talk about that later in the year. how to get organized and use systems in your life to like make it work. But what I really did, I like set an alarm every day at 4, and he comes home about an hour and a half after that. I put the kids in front of the TV because they were little, and I was like, watch Woody again, Toy Story, because I'm going to straighten up the house. And this was before podcasts, so I just had to listen to talk radio while I straightened up the house, and it just became my daily rhythm. But he so enjoyed coming home to a super straightened up house, which was hard. When they're little, that was a lot of work. It's way less work now that my kids are older, thank you, Lord. But anyway, even when they were little, I did it. So if I can do it, you can do it, because I am like a zombie. Once my caffeine wears out around, I don't know, 1:32, I basically like can't even live life. So if I can do this in the late afternoon, you can do it. I also put more effort into menu planning and having foods that were like possible for me to make, so that I didn't just panic and say, can you bring home burritos, when I was tired. One of the systems I use slow cookers a lot, because I can cook when I'm caffeinated in the morning, and then when I have no energy at like 5, I'm like, isn't that great? Dinner's already made. I just have to make a salad. And by make a salad, what I mean is open the bag of salad from Costco and pour it in a bowl, because I don't even chop vegetables anymore for salads because Costco does it for me. So thank you to Costco. Cool. That's all I'm going to say. Promise to keep it short, even though I'm over 5 minutes. I know you're going to give me grace about that. Come back in 2 weeks. We're going to talk about the next love language. I'm not going in order. I hope you got the book. Get the book. Take a quiz. Do the work. But anyway, we're going to do my order, which is words of affirmation, because that was my love language, and I'm going to talk about how I thought about interviewing Nick, but I don't think he'd want to do that. Anyway, I'm going to talk about like how my husband being more intentional with words of affirmation has really helped fill my love language well. I hope you're well. I hope that your new year is off to, we're not really in the new year, but it is still pretty new, and I hope it's off to a good start. I will see you here in 2 weeks for the words of affirmation love language. Take care. Bye-bye.